All right, welcome everybody. We have a special guest with us here today. We want to welcome
Special
Odin Davenport, former CCW Continental Wrestling Tag Team Champion, head trainer of Top Rope Wrestling Academy, and Mr. Continental. So, welcome Odin to the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast.
Thank you for having me, you two. Thank you.
Where'd you get your cigar? I love it.
Oh, cigar shop. There's a lot of good cigars down here in Florida because of our relative closeness to Cuba. So we have a good amount of cigar shops. So I keep myself stocked and ready. Listen, I'm a classy bitch, so I keep it classy.
Classy. You put the ass in class.
You know it.
All
And I got a
right.
lot of ass, too. So I keep it moving.
So how did you first get into professional wrestling?
Whew. I mean, when I was 9 years old was probably the first time I really started watching wrestling. Is when me and my friends started introducing me into wrestling, and that was back when I was one of the biggest ones because I was big until I got to about seventh grade, and then they all jumped past me in height wise. So I was always Diesel in the Battle Royal growing up because everybody wanted to be the Undertaker, so they at least gave me the character of Diesel, which I would take. I was good, but after that, I was pretty much sold because this was wrestling is everything I've always loved. It's a mixture of drama and athleticism, so it really captivated me at a young age. So ever since then, I've been hooked. And in about 2015 was the first time I decided to go to a wrestling school, and that was out in Algona, Iowa, because I was living in Nebraska at the time. In Algona is about a 5 hour drive from Omaha, but it was one of the only reputable wrestling places that I wanted to go. And it was from a guy, his name is Travis Shillington. He's from Impact Pro Wrestling, and I think he debuted in the late 90s. He learned from Mr. Perfect
Okay.
from the Minnesota territory, is where he really got his start. And that's kind of how I got started. After I got into it for a while, I tore my Achilles and had to go back to work and blah, blah, blah. So it took some time. But it wasn't until, 2020, COVID, is when I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm going to really dedicate myself to this full time. And I went to JPWA out in Knoxville when I moved back down south and learned from Dr. Tom. And that's Dr. Tom and Kane's school, and that's where I really got into it full time and really learned pro wrestling.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. What can you tell us about your first match? Like, what do you remember from that? The nerves, the excitement, the energy.
You know what? The funny thing about my first pro match is it was against my buddy Alexander Monroe. We went to Tom's together, and Alex he'd been wrestling for quite a while. He had learned from his first school was with oh goodness gracious um, I can't remember what. God dang it! What is his freaking name? He's one of the biggest tag team wrestlers in the history of tag team wrestling, and I can't even think of it right now. But anyway, he learned from him, and Alex had come down here with me with Jackson to Jacksonville because he wanted to work a show down here, and I happened to be in with the people at CCW because my buddy Cobra at the time was working down here, and he had also went to Dr. Tom's with us, so he brought me down here. And the funny thing about my first match was right after I had gotten a terrible bout of COVID, and it had locked my spinal column up so I could barely move. So I was on,
Jeez.
yeah. So I was on a lot of ibuprofen at the time to help me get through the match, but I did it. And there's something about, I've always loved getting a reaction out of people. That's one thing that I've always been able to do. One thing I've always loved. And getting that reaction that first time, knowing that they really wanted to get behind me, knew that I could do this as long as I wanted to. So that's how I ended up sticking with it. Because it's not an easy thing to do, wrestling. It's really not.
No, I was watching one of your matches today. it was on the YouTube channel. There's like a list of your matches, and there was one, and one of your moves looks like I don't know what it's called when you do it, but who's the guy that impersonates Macho Man? Jay Lethal. It looked like Lethal Injection a little bit. It was just a little bit different at the end. Is that one of your signature moves? What do you call that?
The handspring back elbow.
Oh, is
What is
that what it's
lethal?
called?
What is Jake? The handspring back elbow. Yeah. I loved Tajiri as well growing up, and that was a big Tajiri thing. Was that handspring back elbow? And as a
Okay.
baby face, as a good guy, it's a fantastic move to do as right to begin your comeback is to hit that elbow and then do the kip up. And I got that kip up from Shawn Michaels because everybody loves that kip up. And that kip up really fires people up. But it's
Yeah.
also, as a heel, a great cutoff because you boom, you hit that, and then you can pop up and just talk shit and just be like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
thought you had me? You didn't. I'm right there. I got it. I knew it was coming, so that's why I had this ready for me." I love that move. I love that
Yeah.
move.
But also it demonstrates how like it's not an easy thing to do in
Hmm.
wrestling. That move takes like such athleticism,
It
and
shocks
then
people.
like you have to like land on your back and then, come back up right
Yeah,
away,
it
and
shocks
it's
people.
yeah, so it's yeah, I could see that it's like so hard to be a
Yeah,
wrestler. I couldn't do it.
it's a fun move to do, and it's a move that people don't see coming. So it's a great move to hit out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's why I like it
You mentioned training with Dr. Tom and Kane School. What was that
yeah,
experience like?
a lot. It was a lot. Dr. Tom, he trained. If you watched wrestling in the Attitude Era, he trained almost all of the guys that came in during the Attitude Era. Brock Lesnar, The Rock, like he trained all of the big names that we know from the Attitude Era. So it was that's one of the reasons I wanted to go with him because I knew I would get the basics that I needed. But the most important thing that he taught was psychology. He taught when to hit the moves and how to hit them and the right places to put them. So it was an amazing opportunity to get to learn from a true professional, from somebody that went from wrestling Andre the Giant, the wrestling Hulk Hogan. He's named all the biggest. He's wrestled all the biggest guys. Bret Hart, Steve. He's wrestled all of them. So to be able to get taken under his wing is really one of the things that I hold near and dearest to my heart because there's not a lot of guys that can get that opportunity to learn from somebody that has taught literally the biggest names in the industry.
And his brother's the number two guy in the biggest company in the world right now. So, yeah.
Wait, is that him right there?
Yeah, it's Dr. Tom. His brother's Bruce.
Oh, Bruce
Yeah,
Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard. Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Tom was, remember the Body Donnas with Sonny
yeah,
and Chris Candido?
Yeah.
That was him. He was
Oh,
the
okay.
tag partner.
Okay.
He used to be with Cornette, too, in the Heavenly Bodies.
Okay.
yep,
That's incredible. That's like so many, mega stars that came out of the Attitude
absolutely,
Era.
absolutely.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to go with him because I knew that he knew what the hell he was talking about. Because you can get out on the indies and there's a lot of guys out there that want to train guys where it's like, okay, well, who have you trained from or what have you done? And it's like they can't really tell you anything. They train from people that you've never heard of from before. So I wanted to go train with somebody that one did everything that they were talking about, and two had all of these lists of accolades and people that they've trained that were to the point where I can go, okay, you've got it, you know what you're doing. And the fact that, Kane, the big red machine, was attached to it was an amazing thing to do. So I was like, I'll do it. Absolutely. No problem. I'm going.
That's fun.
That's awesome. So I just recently watched the big tag title match where, unfortunately, your 18-month reign of tag team gold came to an end. What was that like? How did it feel being champ for that long and then ultimately having that letdown?
You know, it was an honor. Yeah, I really feel like Showtime and myself, the Diamond Exchange, we really revived the tag team division in CCW. We really brought those belts back to relevancy in CCW because for a long time, and I may get some heat from this, but it is what it is. For a long time, the tag matches on CCW were a little, they were rough to watch. And whenever we got those belts, I made it my mission to make sure that those matches could be main event matches and that those matches could be the matches that the people wanted to see. And I think we did a really, really good job of bringing those belts and those matches, the tag team division, up to where it needed to be. So whenever Showtime, whenever he lost the match and we lost those belts, I was okay because I knew that there was more for me. I knew that after that, I was going back single anyway. So I was quite happy with what we did. And we accomplished a lot in those 18 months. And I'm very, very proud of what we did.
It's awesome. It was a really good match. I enjoyed it. The one thing I've really loved from doing interviews like this is getting to watch different kinds of wrestling, see not the top names, the top promotions, and getting an appreciation. And I really loved how you slow things down.
Yeah,
It's not a race. Like you take your time, you make a hold count. So I really appreciated that and thought you looked
thank
really
you.
good in the match.
And the thing about one thing I've learned about Florida wrestling is that people do a lot of things that are, you don't need to do a lot down here in Florida. Like, you can make guys pop off of an arm drag if you do it right. And so Florida wrestling to me is a lot easier than what a lot of people do. People think that wrestling has to be move after move after move after move after move. And a lot of it's really not that. A lot of it is you hit a move and then go mess with the audience. Go get the audience involved. Go because that's what they're there for. They want to be part of the show. They don't want to get lost in the shuffle. So that's one thing I try to do in every one of my matches is bring the crowd into it. And I'm not a nice guy in the ring. I'm not here to make you cheer for me. I'm here to make you realize that I'm the best one in the ring and that you're going to appreciate it whether you like it or not. So I really enjoy hitting somebody in the face and then going and looking at their mother in the audience and saying, "Hey, how do you like the fact that I just kicked your son right in the mouth?" I love that. I love that. I love it so much. It's just a joy for me just to be a dick.
I think people respond to that. Like
They do.
I like if you think about some of the top wrestlers right now and some of the gimmicks out there, like the assholes are the top ones. The
They
people that
do.
are the dicks are the ones that you want to watch. Like MJF, we got to see him at a promotion in Enfield like a long time ago now. But it was like when he was first kind of getting bigger and
Mm-hmm.
I remember just saying to Steven, I hope he calls me fat because, he's just like so over the top. And so I think people like live for that. They love when somebody comes out and is just like a total asshole.
And they do. And one of the things that accomplishes is it makes them want to see the babyface beat your ass even more.
hmm
So if the babyface is going to win, it makes that pop even bigger
Yeah.
because you did your job as a heel to get that crowd to hate you and make them want to see that babyface beat you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not trying to pat myself, but I feel like I'm a good enough heel, and I'm a good heel to make them want to see me get my ass beat,
Yeah.
which rarely happens. So it is. They usually end up leaving disappointed.
And toot your own horn, pat yourself on the back, right? It's good.
It
It's
is
good to
what it
do that.
is. I mean, like I said, like you said, 18 months. I basically blue balled them for 18 months because they ain't gonna see me lose very often. It is what it is.
It is what it is. The proof's in the pudding. So your name, Odin Davenport,
Yeah,
we kind of briefly talked a little bit before we went live, but
yeah,
there's a famous drag family, the Davenports. There's Sahara
absolutely.
Davenport, who's no longer with us. There's Kennedy Davenport, So now is your name connected to that drag family, or how did you pick that
Absolutely.
name?
Kennedy is basically I always say she's my drag mother. And I have had actual personal interactions with Kennedy. One of her sisters, oh goodness, she's going to kill me for saying this. You got me on the spot right now. But one of her sisters is my drag auntie.
Okay.
And so I actually felt okay to use the name Davenport. Odin I got because I kind of wanted to marry the two. I wanted a strong masculine name, but I also wanted a drag name as my last name. And the Davenports is one of my favorite drag houses that there has ever been because they're just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could fit in with that group, and I really feel like I have. And they have also seen me because they all come for me. They all know who I am. I've got pictures of them in my house, all over the place. So it's just like it is. Like, yeah, my auntie Albion, she talks to me all the time. We all the time on Facebook. So it's just like me and the Davenports are very close. I'm also close with the Dupree. So if I ever changed my name, it would be Odin Dupree or something like that. But the Davenports are they got me from the beginning, and I'll always be a Davenport. That's just how it is.
I mean, I feel like it's a good fit because there was also Akira C. Davenport, and she was Miss Ass
Oh yeah,
Almighty. So we
oh
talked
yeah.
about that already too. So
Oh yeah, listen, I've got plenty of pictures with Akira too. So it's just like the Davenports are all over, and the Davenports they're flashy, they're exciting, they're gonna do
they're
things that
like,
make you go, oh, work, bitch, and I feel like that I fit right in with them because I also feel like I'm the same way. I mean, look what the hell I'm wearing right now. It's not like
yes.
I'm just sitting here in a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah, they're very put together. They are
Yeah,
like very pretty, and they could be
they're the
pageant
pageant girls,
queens,
you know?
but they can also be like totally stupid too. Like they're okay
Yeah,
with like getting messy, getting ugly. Like Akira was in. I mean, I watch a ton of Drag Race, and I try to watch local
yeah.
queens too. But she did this one challenge where she's like, it's like her and her daughter reuniting after prison, and they have
Oh
like
yeah,
this twerking where they're just like, and
on season 11. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
hilarious. So that's kind of like what their family is like. Um, let me pull this up here. Yeah, and the thing, I mean, we don't have to continue talking about drag, but I mean, I love it. I could talk all day. I
I do
think
too.
that when we talked about wrestling when we were first together, I was a fan, in the Attitude Era, and then I stopped. And then when we got together, I started
That's
watching
generally the
again.
story.
Yeah, and like I remember being like, "What about RuPaul's Drag Race? It's just like wrestling." And
The
he's like,
same
"What do you
thing.
mean?" I'm like,
I
"Well, they're
tell
a
the boys
character.
all the time. Drag wrestling is so
It's the
so
same
similar,
thing."
except what we do is a lot more violent. But
Yes.
it's still with one of the reasons that I do a pump kick is my finish is because Kennedy always does a pump kick in her drag step.
Yeah.
So if you watch Kennedy do her performances, she's always doing a cacao pump kick, throwing that leg up there. So I was
Yeah.
like, that's got to be my finish, and
Yep.
it's just as devastating on stage as she does it. Well, when she's performing, it's
Yeah.
just as devastating in the ring because I mean, when you get kicked in the face, you get kicked in the face. It's kind of it, you know?
It hurts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what would you say has been your most memorable match so far in your career?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Okay, there's two. One was with Bryce Maddox. We wrestled for a show down here in Jacksonville, and Bryce has always been one of my favorite opponents because we have a very similar background. We have a very similar style. Bryce learned from the golly. I get on camera and all of a sudden I forget everything. Bryce learned from. Give me a second. I've got it right here. The Funks. He learned from Dory Funk Jr. And Dory Funk and Dr. Tom were together when they taught everybody they were the trainers for the Attitude Era. So we have very similar backgrounds. So when we get into the rings, I say it's pretty magical because we don't have to go through everything. We just kind of get in the ring and just go. And so our
Yeah.
matches are very magical together. Also, one of my other favorite matches that I have had is with, let's see, God, there's so many good ones. I've had so many matches with Cantrell that was really good. Kevin Cantrell. I've also had Miles is also really fun to work. It's so hard to pinpoint the really fun matches, but I'll definitely say Bryce is a really good one. Also, I'm really proud of the last match that Showtime had with Miles and one of my, I don't want to say students, but I guess students, but Miles, the two that took the belts from us. I really enjoyed that match because it's really fun to see the kids that put in the work at training school. Okay, but yeah, those are some of my favorite matches that we were talking about there.
Let's see. So you said that you are always a heel.
Hmm.
You like to be a heel always.
So I was a babyface when I started. I don't mind being a babyface. I feel like I can do either way, but being a heel is so much more fun.
Yeah.
It's it's so much more fun because it allows you being a heel allows you to slow down. It allows you to slow down and really engage with the crowd in a way that, yeah, as a babyface, you can engage with them and be like, come on, cheer for me. But as a heel, it's like I can really slow down. I can go punish my opponent and then turn and talk to the crowd while he's in the back, hurting and selling and doing what he needs to do. But being a heel is just, it's so enjoyable. And I feel like, I don't want to say in my real life, but in life, I feel me is I'm kind of a jackass, and I'm kind of a dick, and it's so much easier to purvey that in front of a crowd because it's just, like I said, it's just who I am. It's just who I am. I really enjoy just being a jerk, you
Yeah.
know, because being a jerk is kind of fun. Just saying stuff off the wall is kind of fun. And a lot of the time, people just push it off as, "Oh, you're hilarious," and it's like, no, I really mean what I'm saying. But it is. But if you deliver it in a funny way, they don't take it personally, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah, I
mean,
love being.
I think that being a heel, it's almost like, I don't know if you agree, if heels almost get more pops than baby faces because everybody is booing you, and then when you interact with the crowd, then they're engaging with you more, like
But like I said, and then being that heel when that baby face comes back, or
mhm.
they're coming back and they're firing up, it delivers a bigger pop for that baby face if you have a good heel doing their job.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'll be an asshole the entire match, and if I'm going under, or if I know if I'm losing, if I lose, that pop that baby face gets is humongous because I've been
Yeah.
talking shit the entire match, and they want to see that baby face get over on me. So that's
Yeah.
one of the things I love about being a heel.
Yeah.
What would you say is the toughest part about being on the indies and being a head trainer of a school?
Getting people to take it seriously, realizing that there's a lot more to it than just moves.
Yeah.
Psychology in wrestling is very difficult, knowing when and where to place certain things, knowing how to sell it, knowing what to do. That is very difficult. And that comes with the proper training and learning how to do it. And so, yeah, that's definitely the most difficult thing is the psychology part, because this a lot of people think that this business is easier than it is, and this is hard. Wrestling is hard. Like, if you can watch matches on TV where you just hear complete silence, and that's because neither one of them is doing their job right. Neither one of them
Yeah.
is doing their job right, and that's because they don't have good psychology. So it's that by far is the toughest part. This is not easy. Wrestling is hard. Wrestling is hard, and there's a lot of us who are like, oh well, it's easy. You can get in there, you can do whatever, you can do all these moves and blah blah blah. You can not sell and blah and get back up, and the crowd just kind of goes flat.
Yeah.
So this is a tough business to do. The psychology part of this business is the toughest part of it, by sure, by far,
Yeah.
by
I
far.
mean, there's those matches that, like, I mean, they're in like every show, I feel like, where you're just like, I cannot engage with this. Like, there's nothing compelling about it, you
Yeah,
know?
It's the popcorn break match.
and
Yeah.
you're doing too much, and there's a lot of people that just do too much, and it's like that's one thing you said about me when you said I slow a lot of it down. I don't feel like I do a lot, but I always have the crowd involved
Yeah.
because I'm slowing down and I'm getting them involved, and I'm not leaving the crowd behind and doing boom, 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 move, 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 move. No, I
Yeah.
slow it down and I'll let the crowd digest what we're doing in the ring, and that is one of the toughest parts that you'll see in wrestling, and that goes from the top companies down.
Yeah.
Wrestling is not easy. It's not.
No, definitely not. It definitely doesn't seem like it's easy at all. There's just so many different parts to it.
There is. There definitely is.
Let's see. Hmm. So we kind of talked about drag inspiration. Um, what are some of your major inspirations for your character, for your gimmick, in terms of wrestlers?
All right. Well, there's so much between that. And it was funny. It wasn't until about a year or two ago when I dress very flashy, and especially when it comes to promos and stuff. And I went, "Oh my god, I am such a Florida boy." And people were like, "Oh, you dress like The Rock," and it's like, "Yeah, The Rock is a Florida boy." Like I dress like this going out. Like this is not my wrestling gimmick. This is me. This is just me. This is
Listen,
how I
I see
dress.
your pictures on Facebook. Like
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
Halloween costumes,
Yeah.
everything
And
is
people were
over the
like, "Oh,
top.
you dress like The Rock." It's like, well, The Rock is a Florida boy. He's from Miami. Yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
And it's like that part. But when it comes to wrestling style, I'm a very technical person. Bret Hart. I love Kurt Angle. Chris Benoit, even though I'm probably not supposed to say that, it is what it is. I love the wrestlers, but also it wasn't until I started watching myself I didn't realize how many black wrestlers I was influenced by because a lot of my moves come from black wrestlers. I do the World's Strongest Slam, Mark Henry. There's a lot of Booker T in my matches. There's a lot of I do some of the Rock stuff. Like, and so it's like I didn't realize how much that they impacted me until I got in the ring and I started doing the shit that they were doing. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I love wrestling. Like
Yeah.
Dr. Tom really, and it probably, I mean, it was Dr. Tom, and it was probably a little bit of that before, but he just encouraged the wrestling part. I love to wrestle. I love to get in there and grapple and get in there and work people into moves and do submissions and do the simple stuff that works. And then my bigger moves tend to be from a lot of the black wrestlers that I watched growing up. And I never even realized that until I go back and watch my matches and I'm like, holy moly. Yeah, there's a lot of that in there. There's a lot of that.
I feel like it is cool to like I think that there's like a niche market for you for young black males that are queer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In the
Yeah.
wrestling scene, I think that like you are like a good person for them to, like everybody talks about, oh, there's no, princesses and stuff. They're all white, they all have blonde hair, blah, blah, blah. It's the
Yeah.
same thing in any market, you know what I mean? And so, like, you're really carrying the torch for that
I appreciate
particular person. You know what I mean? And I think
that. I
that
appreciate that.
that's important because we don't see a lot of queer wrestlers.
And
There's
it's and I feel like I do it in a way because there are some really, really gay wrestlers out there, and kudos to them. They use their gayness as part of their gimmick, and that's not something that I do. It's not
right.
that's not my gimmick. I'm just a wrestler who happens to be gay,
Yes.
and I try to carry on. It's like I was just talking to Harold about masculinity. There seems to be something where there's a difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity to the point where I feel like we're kind of driving masculinity out of the window. And it's like, no, it's okay to still be masculine and do what you
Right.
want to do and live your life as a masculine way without being a dick. You know, you don't
Yeah.
have to be. I like masculine trucks and blah blah blah. You can still be masculine, and that's what I try to do in
yeah.
my wrestling. Yes, I'm very flashy. I'm gonna wear something sparkly. I'm wearing my spikes all over my shirt. I got my black and gold. I'm doing all this, but at the end of the day, in that ring, I'm still a bad bitch. You can't come for me. You can't
Yes.
come for me. I'm still gonna hurt you in that ring. So we can
Yes.
try it, and I don't have to, shove my ass in someone's face to show that I'm gay. you
Right.
know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just
And
and no tea against anybody who does it. Everybody does what they want to do, but
yeah.
this is the way I work.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows other people out there, like, this is what it is. This is, you can be this. And it's not
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm a gay wrestler. Like you said, you're a
yeah,
wrestler that happens to be gay.
yeah,
And I think it kind of paves the way for other people
for sure.
too. So, and
And
I think that's
thank you for
awesome.
saying that. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
So, for your storylines, what is your process for building a storyline? I imagine when you're training others, I'm sure that stuff that you cover is how to build a storyline with them. What's your process for building your storylines?
One of those things is figuring out who you are as a wrestler first. Who are you? Why are you here? Where are you wrestling?
Yeah.
What do you want? What's your goals here? Do you just want to make something like you just want to be look cool in the ring, or do you want to leave a lasting impact? And my thing is, if I'm going to be in the ring, if I'm going to be in front of you, I want you to remember me. I want you to remember even at the stuff I did throughout the match, but I always tell the guys the most important part of a wrestling match is the finish. So make sure you have a good finish and make sure that it's memorable. You don't have to go in there and do 17,000 moves because trust me, they're not going to remember anything but the finish. They're not going to remember that you did a moonsault off the top rope outside of the ring 2 minutes into the match. They're not going to remember that. What they're going to remember is if you go and you hit a small package and take the tights. That's what they're going to remember. So
Yeah.
my thing is, what is your point of being a wrestler? Because I want you to remember the good stuff. I want you to remember that God, that guy, Odin Davenport, he's a dick, but boy, did I enjoy watching him. And that's all I
Yeah.
want. That's what I think everybody should want from a wrestling match. But there are some guys who, just want to do everything, and that's their prerogative. I can't, as Dr. Tom always said when I went to him. There's so many flavors of ice cream, and this is my flavor of ice cream, and that's what I like, and that's what I teach, and that's what I say to the guys that I teach. This is my flavor of ice cream. You guys do what you want to do. If you don't want to be vanilla or chocolate, you want to go be your cotton candy flavor. Okay, great. But
Yeah.
still remember, you still need that vanilla and chocolate to get to where you want to be. It's not always just you can't just go in there and just do everything under the sun and expect people to be like, "Oh, he's great," especially if they're not going to remember it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people aren't going to remember all that. They're just
Yeah.
not.
What questions do you have, babe? I've been kind of dominating. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Um, I know your inspiration, you pull from, drag and everything. What about gear? One thing I always notice whenever I watch wrestlers, what's their gear look like? How are they presenting themselves? How important of that, of the process is that to
It's
you and everyone you train?
it's so important. Gear is so, and that's one thing I learned from the very beginning is that gear is so important. You want to look professional. You always want to look professional. If you don't look professional, the people aren't going to see you professional. I always dress like a star because I am a star.
Yeah.
I may not be on TV. You may not know me, but after you come to one of my shows, after you come to a show, you're going to say, oh, that guy is a professional. That guy is somebody. He knows what the fuck he's doing because of the way I dress. I don't go in there. You'll never see me wearing a t-shirt or some jean shorts or anything like that. Even I'm not a big fan of. Everybody wears these wrestling shoes with the boot pads covering them. Not my gimmick. I'm not a fan of it. But you'll never see me in that because my goal is to look like a professional. Even if I'm not on TV, you're going to see that I'm somebody. And
Yeah.
at every show that I am at, people will look at me and be like, you were one of the best ones out there because the way you look, one, also the way you work. But the way you look goes a far way when it comes to professional wrestling. Because there are guys that just go out there and some Spanx and some tennis shoes, and you ain't gonna remember them. But you're gonna remember the fact that I got my sparkly golds on. You're gonna remember the fact that my boots have my name on them. You're gonna remember the fact that my jacket has my spikes and the O and the D here. You're gonna remember that I look like a professional, and that goes a long, long way. It really, really does. It's something that I hate that is a lost art in the indies. It's like I get that you're indies, I get that you're broke, but make it work. Figure something out. Scrape your cash together and put on something that makes you look good. Because if you go out there and you look like you're indie, they're going to say, "Oh, you're indie," and
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like look like a professional. That's one of the biggest things I preach. Look professional.
Just for the job you want.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Just like going to an interview. Dress like for the job you want. Don't show up for an interview in some shorts and t-shirt. No. Look like you want this job.
Yep.
Even if it's at McDonald's.
Yes,
Same thing in
exactly.
pro wrestling.
What's a typical show day like for you?
Oh boy, it depends on the day. If we're traveling to like Palatka, which we have to go to sometimes, I go to Palatka. I really, really do. But those are days because I mean, especially on the indies, you got to go there. You got to put the ring together. You got to make sure everything is good to go. Then you have your show. Then you got to break everything down, and then you got to go home. But part of that is having a positive attitude. Hey, this is what you want to do. This is what you signed up for. You can't come in here in big time and then be like, oh, I don't want to do this. And there's a lot of guys on the indies, especially after they had a little taste of success outside of the indies, that come in and they still think they're too good to do the stuff that you're doing. They think they're too good to put a ring together or even help break down. And that's one of the things that really, really, really annoys me because, hey, we're in the same gymnasium.
Yeah.
We are in the same high school arena, gym, whatever you want to call it. So don't forget where you came from because there's a lot of guys that forget where they came from just because they had a taste. And that taste was like they did an episode of AEW Dark that's not even on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
And you want to think that you're better than everybody and you don't want to do it because you think you surpassed that, which you haven't because you're here with me.
Yeah.
Sit here, enjoy your time with the guys, get to know the guys that you're there with. Don't seclude yourself off and let's sit here and we can have a good time. And then at the end of the day, we all go home. It is what it is. This is
Yeah.
wrestling. This is the indies. This is what we do. So sit here and enjoy what we're doing and don't be an asshole. But for the most part, that's what you do during the setup days and the other days. You sit there, you ha ha, you kiki, you do your work, and then you go home. That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, New Japan. Like he's always talking about how he'll talk about the different wrestlers and he's like, "Oh, this was so and so's young boy." And I feel like that's their style is like you start as a young boy doing all the
Yeah,
stuff and the things
and that's
and
kind of with everything. That's
yeah.
New Japan. They take it. Their Japan is crazy. There's one thing where it's just like I don't think I don't want to. That's not for me. But yeah, a part of being like the new boys, it's the young boys, and it's kind of humbling you
Yeah.
and being humble, and like they sleep in the arenas and all that stuff, and it's like that's a little much for me, but that's how they humble them over there.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's how they humble them, and it's to make them realize that you need to start down here and then work your way up.
Yep.
You don't just start at the top. There's very few that start at the top. Like those few that start at the top even still had to train somewhere. Like look at Brock Lesnar. He still had to train with Jim Cornette down at OVW, even though he was a freaking freak. Now he didn't stay there for very long, but you still have to start somewhere, and that's something where you have to drop your ego at the door when it comes to pro wrestling. You can't come in with an ego, or wrestling will eat you alive if you start with an ego.
Yeah.
Especially if
Yeah.
you watch a lot of the guys that get on TV that came from nowhere, that were athletes in like college in a different aspect, or that have done things outside of pro wrestling that come in, they don't do well normally. When Kurt Angle first got there, he didn't want to do all the stuff that you needed to do as a rookie, because he was like, no, this is above me. So originally he didn't come in, but it wasn't until a year or two later when Kurt Angle came back and said, okay, I need to sit back and learn and shut up, that really he really had his success. So he shut up. Same thing with with Lesnar. Like Lesnar knew he was a freak. Everybody knew that Lesnar was a freak, but you don't just start at the top because you're a freak. You still have to learn the basics. You still need to understand the business, and you still need to respect the business. That's a lot of things that athletes outside of wrestling don't realize, is that there's a lot of respect that comes in this business. And if you
Yeah.
don't respect the people that you work with, if you don't respect the business in general, you'll fall flat on your face in a heartbeat. Because
Yeah.
those people that have been in the business for a long time, they don't give a fuck. Oh, you don't care? I don't care either. Do what you want.
Yeah. How do you balance wrestling with your everyday life? So you're a trainer, you're a wrestler, you probably have a day job. How do you balance all of it?
Ugh, that's tough. That's the tough part. It takes talent to balance it. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. There's It depends on what your goal is. Like with me, I am quite content on where I am. Maybe if I was a little younger, I would be like, oh, I want to do a little more. Maybe I want to travel more. I am 30. I'm almost 38 years old. I Being on the road all the time does not sound like a fun thing for me. I No, it's not for me. But I also have my boyfriend Harold is extremely helpful in what I do. He makes all of my trunks.
That's
He
awesome.
is completely supportive of what I do. And that is one thing that is extremely important, is that you have to have somebody that is supportive of what you do. Because this is a very selfish job. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, wrestling takes a lot of time, because I got to go to the gym, I got to train, I got to do train others, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to get gear, I got to spend money on this and this and that. So having somebody that is there with you to help you, to help with your gear, and that is fully supportive of you, is a big deal in this industry, because there's a lot, like Stone Cold had like four wives because
Yes.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And if you don't have somebody that's there, that is supportive and is like, go ahead, baby, you go do you. I completely understand it. I get that it's your dream and blah, blah, blah. It ain't going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It just isn't. So, I really think the biggest part of this is having a supportive partner if you have one, because it is incredibly selfish.
Yeah.
This is a selfish business. It just is.
Yeah.
That's just the way the business was designed, was to be all about you.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's trying to be somebody in the capacity that they want to, and it's
Yeah,
very inward focused because you have to
yeah,
keep reinventing yourself, continue to find
right.
ways to be entertaining, and
Yeah, look
yeah.
at Chris Jericho. He's reinvented himself 75,000 times since 2000.
Yeah. And I feel like I like almost all of his gimmicks. He's had so many good ones.
So many.
There's probably a new
Jericho
one
was
coming
always one
up
of my
too.
favorites growing up.
Yeah, he
But
has
it's always
mine.
like he realized, and that's one of the reasons he's still relevant to this day, even if I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he does now that he's older. But he realized at an early age, and also being a smaller wrestler, that he had to reinvent himself to keep himself relevant. He's always been very, very good at that.
Yeah.
So it's selfish. You got to worry about you, and you got to have somebody that's willing to deal with that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're content with where you're at, you're happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what are your goals in the wrestling industry for, let's say, the next 6 months, 12 months, the next couple years?
I mean, right now, I'm at a point, like I said, I'm getting back into a single, and I just want to be a top guy at where I am.
Yeah.
And where I am one of the top guys, and I do like to venture out every now and again, but I have no real urge of leaving Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a big fan. I don't. I just, like I said, I'm almost 38 years old. I don't really want to travel a bunch. I don't really want to do a bunch. I never. That's okay. So I went to school for music ed when I first went to college. So I went to school to be a teacher, but then I realized I hate kids, so I didn't stick with it. But teaching wrestling has been a real joy of mine. So I've been really enjoying getting to teach some of these younger kids and teaching them the things that I know. And a lot of the stuff that I know, I got straight from Dr. Tom. A lot of the drills that I run, I got straight from Tom. A lot of the things the psychology, I got straight from Tom. So I love passing that on to them. And I hope that these younger kids can use it if they want to get past us and they want to go somewhere else. Like we have a kid, I will always say that he's one of my first students. For us, he was Princito, but now he is with. I always told him, "Hey, kid, I'm like high school. You need to go to college." And that's what I say to all the kids. You need to go to college. So he's at Booker T School out in Houston, and he's there. His name is Rez Gaynor, and he's working his ass off, and he is really building himself up, and they really like him because he's good at what he does. He's really good at what he does, and I'm proud of him. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like I can hope I can get one of these kids to achieve their dream, if that's their dream, is to want to go on and be a top guy in one of these bigger companies or go and work anywhere they want to. That's kind of my goal, is to train in these guys here in North Florida, South Georgia, wherever they're coming. But anyone who comes through Top Rope Wrestling Academy, my goal is to make it that they can go wherever they want to, work wherever they want to, and be a top guy wherever they want to. And that's one of the things I'm priding myself on right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So how have you been?
I'm
Are you still baking?
Oh yeah, I do bake. I have some cute Halloween cupcakes I'm gonna be making here in the next couple weeks for a party. She sent me like four different pictures with like a ton of different designs. And I was like, she's like, which ones can you do? I'm like, why don't you tell me the ones that you want and I can tell you if
That
I
part.
make them. Yeah.
So we go all out. Halloween and Christmas are things that we go out all out on.
Yeah.
And our patio theme this year on one patio is Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Okay.
and the other one is Little Shop of Horrors.
I saw the
So this
plant.
yes. So this year we were talking about doing Little Shop of Horror cupcakes with the plants
Hmm.
and doing cooking, but whew, that's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm like so basic. Like I sell a bunch of basic stuff because I just like I'm not interested in doing like the big designs and
Yeah.
people are like, you should go on a baking show. I'm like, that is not
Uh,
for me.
I'm sorry, I kind of already was on one.
I was on Hell's Kitchen. That's different. But
It's not. I was on TV for cooking, so
listen,
please.
that was the craziest thing I ever did.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, it was nuts, but it was fun. It was really fun. I was also 14 years younger. I'm like going to be
Yeah,
40 next month. He's already
yeah,
40. So we feel you on the getting older thing. I'm like,
exactly.
man,
Like it's fun when you're younger, but as you age, you're like, girl, I'm tired.
yes. Like I couldn't do it now. I had to go away for 5 weeks. I couldn't talk to anybody. They took my phone. I didn't even have a
Uh huh.
phone. I'm like,
Uh huh.
I'd be like gone for 5 weeks from like my whole family and no, can't do it.
You
Not
know, one thing
interested.
that really got me when it came to like wrestling travel is when WWE a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, they were in Saudi Arabia on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and then Monday Night Raw was in Pittsburgh.
So crazy.
No,
Hard
no.
pass.
After you take me to Saudi Arabia, I'm going home for a week or two. I'm not doing nothing else.
Yeah. Like when do they have
That's
time
too
to
much.
sleep besides on the airplane or whatever?
Literally, that's too much.
That was
No, that's
M.
too much.
That was MJF this past weekend. Friday night, he headlined Arena Mexico. Took a 2 a.m. flight to Toronto, and then
Yeah.
was the second match on the card at like 4 in the
No,
afternoon.
It's crazy.
no, no. I'm good.
No thanks.
No,
Hard
I want to go
pass.
sit at the beach somewhere and chill and have my tequila and no, no, because I'm cussing everybody
Hard
out.
pass.
I'm tired. Tired.
Seriously. I get it. All right, we're going to do a rapid fire round. I mean, some of this stuff we kind of covered a little bit, but just whatever comes to mind, just say it.
We're good. Okay.
You want to go first? Well, it's not that rapid. We're a little, but go ahead.
Rapid
Face,
ish.
face or heel?
Heel.
Yep. Your dream venue to wrestle in if you could wrestle anywhere in the world. Not Saudi Arabia, obviously.
Ironically, the Jag Stadium here. If I could wrestle a show in the stadium where the Jags play, because they had swimming pools in that stadium. Like I've always been shocked that not shocked because AEW probably couldn't fill it, but they have a stadium here and they haven't run a big show in it. But that stadium would be so much fun to work a show on because I've been on the field in that stadium and it would be like, wow, this would be great to do. So I think that would be one of my dream stadiums. Either that or because I'm a Pittsburgh boy, working at like Civic Arena or Heinz Field would be amazing to me.
Yeah, that would be huge, Heinz Field.
No, it's not Civic Arena. I'm sorry, PPG Paints Arena. It's always gonna be Civic Arena. Oh, it's not even Heinz Field, even more in it. God damn,
What is
I'm
it?
so old.
Acrisure.
Either one of them damn stadiums in Pittsburgh would be fun.
Well, we knew what you meant with Heinz Field because I think it was Heinz Field when we moved here. So
We'll be at Peterson tomorrow night.
It's insane. Everything has changed now,
it's
but
crazy.
I would like to work there because of the home field type of gimmick. But yeah, being down here working at the Jag Stadium would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. So inspirations to you, any criteria, whatever stands out to you.
It's so hard. Okay, so top four. Okay, Undertaker's always going to be on there because he's the reason I got into pro wrestling. He's my favorite. Always has been, always will be. He is sports entertainment to the fullest. And like I was talking about Chris Jericho, he just figured out a way to change his character over time to make it work for what he needed to do. Okay, Bret Hart would also be on that list because I love the way Bret Hart worked. Always. Kurt Angle, number 3, because maybe that's the Pittsburgh boy me, but Kurt Angle was the way he caught on like that, and Kurt Angle was amazing. Okay, so that's 3. Okay, 4 is
Kurt
where I
Angle.
get into the top part. That part right there. That part right there. 4 is where I get into the tough part. I'm going to go ahead and say it, and I'm probably not supposed to say it, but Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit made me realize that I could do this because I'm not 6'5", I'm not 270, I am 5'10", I weigh 210 pounds, and Chris Benoit made me realize that smaller guys can be on the top just as big as the top guys can, or the bigger guys can.
Yeah.
And it's all in the work that you do. And Chris Benoit, boy, oh boy, was he an amazing he was so good. The way he ended his career, the way things ended was obviously awful. But boy, oh boy, when it came to pro wrestling, Chris Benoit could wrestle his ass off.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be my 4. What did I say? Undertaker, Benoit, Kurt Angle, and Bret Hart. Yeah, I'd say that'd be my Mount Rushmore.
That's a good Mount Rushmore. I don't think we've had that. I don't think we've had those wrestlers on other wrestlers' Mount Rushmores. Your most favorite entrance music of all time?
If you could pick any entrance music, no copyright, your choice.
That's another tough one. That's another tough one. Okay. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say between Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy! That one always got me up. But also The Undertaker during his 98, 99, where that sick guitar riff, that that was fucking sick. Like that, it just woof. And especially with the pyro going off in the background and starting off with the gong and then transferring into that guitar riff. Oh, that was so good. Okay, hang on. Oh, there's so many good ones. There's so many good theme songs that I love so much. It also depends on how I'm feeling. Because there's sometimes Maurice,
okay,
her theme music was the best. Her theme music was legit. Because that theme music makes me go out and dance. Pourquoi tu si it was so good. But it just it depends on the mood. But I definitely pick around them points. Yes. Because it was so cunty.
Yes.
It was just like, oh, this is a bad bitch coming down to the ring. I don't know, even if you don't know who she is. She had a great theme song.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, but I'd probably stay around those ones.
Yeah. The Undertaker, I mean,
sure nobody else is going to Maurice either.
That's true. People are probably like, what? Okay. We need you to give us a 30-second promo, preferably mentioning our podcast so we could use it as a sound clip.
30-second promo.
And be as much of a dick as you want.
The floor is yours.
The floor is yours. Or be nice. Yeah, you could be nice.
You want 30 seconds?
Just
if
whatever.
If you guys want to get in, you ready?
Oh, we're ready. Go for it.
If you guys want to get in to pro wrestling, whether it's good or bad or people you know or people you don't, Mr. and Mrs. Pro Wrestling is where you need to be. Because they're going to ask the hard-hitting questions, whether you like the answers or not, whether you like the people or not, whether you know who these people are or not. They are going to bring you the good ones. Just like me, just like Odin Davenport right here, the shirts right here as well. They will bring you what you need to hear.
Yes, love it.
That's 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was great. All right, I'm gonna. All right, where can we find you? Are there any big shows coming up that you want us to promote or socials?
You can go to my Facebook. I mean, I'm DJ Taylor on Facebook, but all of my wrestling stuff is there as well. Oh, excuse me, the tequila's getting to me. I'm also old Odie Davenport on Instagram. So all of my wrestling stuff is on there. So you can always find me there as well. I know Bryce Maddox and I will be seeing each other pretty soon. It'll be early November. We haven't nailed down a date yet, but probably the first week it'll be here in Jacksonville. But I'll post more about that on the socials, so you can find us there.
Okay.
I don't
And
have
then
a
do
Twitter.
you? That's okay. And do you have a place where you sell your merch? Like, where can we get that cool shirt?
Oh, you can just find it either on CCW. What is it? CCW.biz. CCW.biz is where all of our t-shirts on. You can find that there. I've got more promos coming or more merch coming. I'm got a fan, a Clacky fan that'll be coming soon, and I'll have more shirts coming as well. So I'll post more about that on my Instagram and my Facebook as well.
So Harold does your trunks. Can we promote something of his? I know he does Etsy. Does he have an
Oh,
Etsy shop?
absolutely. FW or HFW Creations is on what's Insta? Not Insta, on what? On Etsy.
Okay.
HFW3 Creations on Etsy is where he does all his wreaths, and all of his gimmicks are on there.
Okay, perfect. And you
This is
said
one of his
HFW3? Yes, the
creation.
reads.
One
Okay,
of his
creations. Okay, yeah, we'll throw up your Etsy on our show notes, Harold, so we can promote
Appreciate
you
you, because
too.
he does hats, he does his wreaths. He's one creative motherfucker. Let me tell you.
I know this year should be the year we buy one of those because I see them every year and I'm
Please
like a
do.
Christmas freak. Like
And
I
he,
can't
and
wait
he
to
does
start
custom
decorating.
ones too. And he does custom ones too. So just
Okay.
hit me up and tell us what you want. We can get something for you.
We could do a wrestling one, right?
Yes, we could do a wrestling one.
You definitely could.
Okay, I'll message you our logo and then you can just go from there and do whatever colors,
We
whatever.
sure could.
That'd be
We
awesome.
sure could, especially with your Mr. and Mrs. We definitely could. With the colors you want and all that stuff, we definitely could.
Okay.
He definitely could. Let me stop saying we like I help with his fucking reads.
Awesome.
But he definitely could.
Okay, I'll definitely message him. All right. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so great.
Thank you for having me. I've had a lot of fun tonight, you too.
Me too.
Awesome.
We'll do it again. I mean, come on. We're gonna
Please.
always need guests. So.
Yeah, if you ever have
Next
anybody
time,
that
time you see me, I'll have a big gold belt across my shoulder. So.
I can't wait. Yes.
yeah, if you have anybody else that wants to promote, any work they're doing, just send them our way. We love pro wrestling. We want to do right by everybody and just share this beautiful sport that we love.
Oh, you like wrestling? You like wrestling as much as me, Effie, the GCW World Champion? Well, I've got the right show for you. Tune in to Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling, where Steve and Mare bring you all the wrestling news, all the wrestling fun and gossip on a podcast available to you for free to listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you get podcasts. That's right, it's Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling.